Hey everybody, Lisa here. So I just woke up like literally just maybe 20 minutes ago. So I'm a little bit out of it. So anyway, hope you guys had a good week and you're looking forward to a good weekend. I had a really good week. Um, I want to thank my dear friend Colleen Eckmark. You can find her on SoundCloud. Eckmark is how you spell her last name. Um, for and of course Bert Thomas at Drum Recovery Network here on YouTube. It's Drum Recovery Network channel where he interviews all of his favorite drummers and musicians that inspired him. And you can go there to learn his whole story. And I want to thank them for coming on with me Wednesday night. I don't usually do things at night, but Bark lives in the mountains of Seattle, Pacific Standard Time. So, and he has a music school for kids, mostly on Zoom these days with everything going on, not just COVID, but they're also experiencing a lot of well, they need our good thoughts on the West Coast. The fires are, you know, they never stop, you know. So I'm gonna put their information in the description of this video as well after we finish, just just so you can have it and make sure you go follow Burke at Drum Recovery Network. He deserves the support. He should have a lot more subscribers than he has. He needs to figure out the YouTube algorithms. There's no excuse for him doing a two-part interview with Martin Chambers from Pretenders and so few people seeing it, but you can find him on there. Oh, we have some visitors. Hey there. Thank you for stopping in. I can't promise I'm going to be too exciting. I literally just woke up. Hey, good morning, Edward. Uh, if you still have the link, we'll get you on here in just a minute. I just wanted to thank a few people first um, and kind of, and then I'll get you on here since you're already here. Okay, well, then I also want to thank Glenn Kellaway uh, from the basement for, or is it in the basement? Anyway, Glenn Calloway, great guy. He was the first person to come on and be willing to answer this list of 21 questions that I want to ask everybody that in the vinyl community that will let me. I should probably one of these days answer them myself, but I'll do that sometime. I keep saying I'm going to, but I haven't yet. And are you guys looking forward to drop 3 tomorrow? Man, I'm exhausted from all the record store days, and then we find out there's going to be Black Friday. On the one hand, it's awesome because who doesn't get excited about new music. On the other hand, it's like we all just need to win the lottery so we can buy everything that we want. I know I'm going to try to get that Booker T and the MGs for sure. There's some other things that look interesting to me, but I can't say that I'm not going to be disappointed if I can't get my hands on them. The only one I really want that I'll be upset if I can't get it is the Booker T and the MGs. My husband wants that Judas Priest, so I'm gonna, make sure I get that also. But I probably won't give it to him until Christmas. Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, I'm hearing that one a lot. I've been watching. Yeah, totally. I've been watching a lot of Record Store Day Drop, videos, and that Skid Row is on a lot of people's wish list. Edward, if you still have the link that I put in the comments from that last video where we were talking, you can just click on that to get in here if you want. I know I had more stuff I wanted to talk about, but since I just woke up, I can't remember any of it. May as well have you join. So anyway, hope you guys have a good weekend planned. I'm going to finish up my basement. I'm hoping by Sunday to actually have stuff on the walls in here. The walls are really bare. But I honestly, I keep going back and forth on painting and taking off that paneling. You see that hideous paneling? Oh, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of paneling. So, Tony is he's wanting to take it off too. I mean, it's just an overlay. I mean, we can take it off and then, spackle the walls and then paint. And I think that's what we might do. We're thinking about painting it really dark, like a midnight blue or a really dark purple, and then putting stars on the ceiling and a disco ball. Because we're just kind of dorky like that. It's kind of that would suit our personality. I'm gonna send a link out for Proghat. Okay, it's for because he's gonna do these 21 questions. Okay, I'm trying to figure it out, Edward. Give me a second. I'm still. There we go. Got to figure out how to send a comment. Oh, here we go. Did I do it? There we go. Yeah, I got it in there. Edward's going to tell us what's on his wish list for tomorrow, if anything, and then we're going to talk about this 4 records day drops thing. Not that we need any more people discussing it. Everybody's talking about it, but I want to know what he thinks about it. So he should be here in just a second. I'm also gonna, put a link in the description to Glenn. Oh, I think here he is. Here's Edward. Uh-oh. How do I get you on here? There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Man, I have been awake for less than a half hour. I normally am up really early in the morning. I usually wake up about 5, but I was so tired that I slept. I don't even use an alarm. Next thing I knew, my husband's kissing me goodbye to go to work, and he leaves for work like about, well, I guess I've been up an hour actually. He leaves for work about 8:15 on Friday. He gets to go in a little later. During the week, he has to leave about 7, but on Friday, he gets to go in a little later. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm usually up with him and, drinking coffee with him. And I was he said I was snoring too, which is something I don't usually do.
Okay.
So I must have been really, really tired. Oh, I've got this enormous coffee cup courtesy of my best friend Colleen, who was on with me Wednesday night.
Gotta have the big cup.
So what do you have on your wish list for tomorrow, if anything?
Well, the 2 things that I'd like to get is the Skid Row, of course. I'm a fan of them.
A lot of people want that, yeah.
And of course, my favorite band is The Who, and I want to get the Who thing.
Oh, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that they were your favorite band.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Favorite band. Pete Townsend is one of my favorite guitar players. Inspired me to pick up the guitar.
Well, you know what? He a member of his band inspired me to start playing the harmonica.
Oh,
Yeah, but I don't know who it is. It was back in the 80s. Do you remember that live video for that song Face to Face?
yes.
There
I
was
love
this
that video.
really kind of just really meek looking guy just standing there, and then all of a sudden he started playing the harmonica, and he just turned into a crazy person. And I just thought that looks like fun. That looks like
Right,
fun. And of course, and then I always was a big fan of a lot of the blues artists. So
right,
so
right, exactly.
that inspired me to start.
Sonny Boy Williams, good harmonica player.
Who?
Sonny Boy Williams.
Oh yeah, well, he's one of the all-time greats. You know, I've been inspired by so many. Junior Wells, probably
Oh yeah.
my favorite. He has a real identifiable sound.
Yes.
Like he plays I can tell it's him. I can tell it's him. I also, and then there's some people too that aren't even that great of harmonica players, but I still enjoy them. Neil Young, he really isn't that great of a harmonica player. He's
He
not that
he
great.
yeah, he has a neat tone where
He
it
does
works for
though.
what he's doing.
It he well, you just know that nobody else could really slide that in and have it work for him the way he does it. So even
True.
though he's not the most talented, but for the longest time I wasn't playing harmonica right,
Me
and
too.
I ended up with a little like dent in the side of my tongue.
Mm.
Kind of going away now that I've learned how to play properly, but yeah, from bad technique, I maimed my tongue.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I keep hearing this sound like every time, and it's like I don't know how to describe it, and I think it's on my end, but if you can hear me okay and I'm not breaking up, then we're good.
You're not breaking up.
Okay.
You're not breaking up. So I'm trying to get a list of all of the record store day release. What do you think about 4 record store day drops this year?
Wow. I guess they figured that since we're in this pandemic that they got to come up, they got to make these record stores have to make money somehow to keep
Yeah.
afloat. Because we don't
Yeah.
really know how they're doing. We really don't know how they're doing. They tell us they're doing good, but we don't really know, and so
Yeah.
that fourth drop might be something that helps them to continue to have some business, some revenue.
I think a Black Friday drop is totally reasonable. And I would even support in the future going forward, maybe having a record store day drop in the spring like they had been doing, and then
Right.
go ahead and have that Black Friday drop. That's 2 a year. I don't think that 2 a year is unreasonable, but I do think that 4 days, 4 months in a row is a little hard on the consumer, but I also understand that the record stores do need to stay afloat. One of my favorite stores that I order from has a YouTube channel, Spin Me Round Records. They're in Pennsylvania, and they actually, thanks to all of the record store day drops, were able to move into a bigger store. They're in a mall in Pennsylvania, and
Right.
they were able to move to a bigger store right across the way.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah,
It's
so
neat.
I know it's been helping them.
Right. It's neat when record stores have their own YouTube channel. I wish mine did.
I know. My favorite store here, I would have never known they existed except that I ordered something off of Discogs, and when it came to me, it said Huber. Came from Huber Heights, which is 10 minutes away from me. So this store's at Huber Heights, and I had to order this off of Discogs. I could have just walked in their store, but they don't. They don't have a Facebook page. They
Right.
don't have a. They have no presence where I had no way of knowing that they were even there. And so it's like they're there, but they primarily do most of their business on Discogs, apparently. Yeah, I'm looking here at this Booker T and the MGs. That's the one that I really want. I'm a little
Awesome.
concerned. There's 2,500 of them. And man, when they do less than 5,000 for somebody as popular as they are, it's ripe for flippers.
Right. Oh
That's
yeah.
what they and they get online and they order one copy from it. You know, you're allowed one copy. Most stores only allow one copy, but they can order one copy from several. And then look what happened. Like Bill Evans. I just recently discovered Bill Evans. You know, I know it seems kind of crazy because he has such a vast, you know, body of work, but I just discovered him recently. Through everybody going crazy trying to find this Bill Evans album for Record Store Day, and I had managed to not hear him yet. So, but man, you look on eBay and people are selling them for ridiculous sums of money,
Yep.
or they
There you
just
go.
bought it, burned it to CD, and now they're just going to sell the record.
It's exactly what they're going to do, you know. And they work in groups because I stumbled on a group one year when we had Record Store Day here to go in the store, and I
Yeah.
came across this little group, and they had a couple of young ones, and they said, "Here's the list. Go grab one of these." And so they work. Some of them work in little groups, and then they go get all those, you know. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. And I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. It's none of my business, but I don't know. I mean, if you're
Well,
just
and
going to,
as a
yeah,
consumer, it's a little bit your business. I
right.
don't have a problem with, I mean, since the beginning of time, people have been buying collectible items and then selling it when the time is right. So, but it seems a little shady to me though to buy it and then literally wait less than 2 weeks until nobody can get it anymore, and then put it up on eBay for, you know, way more money than what
Way right.
it eliminate. I feel like I always feel for the working people, you know, who really wanted that album. Well, they can afford $30, but they can't afford $90, and
No.
that's what people are asking, you know.
And then those little 7-inch records that they do on they ask for those like 40 or 35. I'm like,
I know. You know, I did not buy that Brandy Carlisle because it was literally 2 songs for $30, and I'm like, no, no,
no.
I'm not doing that. I
Yes,
did
exactly.
get some awesome stuff though. I bought a couple of things I had never heard, and they ended up being really good. This last
Cool.
one, I got Suzanne Kiani. I keep trying to mispronounce her name. Michael in Germany, you know, the 45 RPM
Right.
audio file. He did a video, and he's more familiar with that kind of music, so I believe he probably has the correct pronunciation. But I think it's Suzanne Kiani. I have that album on almost all day, every day now while I'm working because it's such a beautiful background. It's not anything that's going to distract me from my job. I work
Wow.
for hospice, but I get to do my job from home.
Me
At
too. I work for an agency and I get to work from home. So, and I took
night.
today off because it's going to be a day where I put some stuff together and I'm going to go to this record store that opens up later. And I'm going to do another trade. And I said, even if I get enough for one good record, I'm happy with that.
There you go. There you go. I like to trade a lot too.
Hmm.
I even trade at a clothing store about once a year. I take in all the stuff I don't want and I get store credit and get new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I like doing that. It reminds me of the real early days as a kid because I was raised in a small Texas town from where I was born here in Texas.
Right.
And none of us, none of us had, bucks coming in. So we would trade each other's records, but we say, I'll let you borrow this one, my Rolling Stones Hot Rocks for 2 weeks. You let me borrow your Queen records, and we would do that. And then,
Yeah.
and then thank goodness for blank cassettes. I still love them.
Yeah. I
I
I
still have
still,
some. They play
you know,
still.
isn't that awesome? I found a whole bunch of blank tapes. My my grandpa, before he passed away,
Hmm.
made a bunch of tapes of himself telling all of his favorite stories.
Oh,
So now
awesome.
I will never get rid of my tape player now because of that. I'll never. I took all of them in and I had them burned to CD, you know,
Right,
so that
right.
keep them forever, you know. But the original tape, there's just something so special about that. And I found out so much about him. He was bad, you know. You think your grandpa saint. He was not a saint. I'm gonna tell you that. I was like, Grandpa, some of the
Right.
stories he had to tell were just, yeah, they were definitely not safe for work or children.
Okay.
But he told them all just for the sake of, of keeping history,
Right, right.
Yeah, Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. Do you know
Oh,
if that's do you know if that's a reissue or if that's I'm not familiar with their catalog. Is that a reissue or is that a brand new one? Do you know?
that is a reissue of their third album, and it's a very good album.
Okay, well I know that Tony wants it, so um I did not acknowledge him when he mentioned that he wanted it because I don't want him to know it's coming for Christmas. But it's about
Awesome.
that time of year that we have to start, planning for Christmas.
That's awesome. That's a good record. I mean, I remember when we were young, and another thing too is we didn't have guitar tablature, we didn't have YouTube to go watch somebody
Right,
play something. So when we
right.
saw each other Monday morning in a guitar class in high school, we'd have one guy go, "Hey, you remember that song from Sad Wings of Destiny?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah." He goes, "Let me show you. I learned some parts of it," and that's how we
Oh,
learned.
awesome. Awesome.
So he started playing Victim of Changes, and I was like, dang, that sounds just like the record. And we're sitting there. We didn't write anything down. We just had to do a lot of memory. Okay, here's how my friend played it. And so we'd all go back home, me and my brother, and go, you remember how he was playing it in the hallway? He goes, yeah, it was like this. And then we put on the record, and that's how we did our own
Oh
learning
my.
of.
Wednesday night, when I talked to Burke Thomas, he was telling me that he learned how to play drums with the Pretenders debut album on vinyl, that he would put it on and then he'd run over to his drum kit and try to play along with it. And
That's
and
how
that's
that's
how
how we did it. Yes.
that's how he learned to play the drums.
One day I came home, this was years ago, and my brother was so excited about having Blizzard of Oz and Randy
That's
Rhoads.
a great album. That's a good album.
And when
Yeah.
he goes, sit down. I said, what am I in for? He goes, just sit down. He played every song on the guitar along with that album. He had learned it, and it was
That,
freaking
that's a talented person to be
yes,
able to
and
figure out that. Yeah, that is talent. That is
it
talent.
blew.
I don't have a good ear. I don't have the best ear. I have to actually see sheet music to be able to play something.
Me too. I have to do a little bit of both. I don't have a very good ear, but he has an awesome ear, especially when he was doing the song what was it called? The last song on the album, Mother Earth, Revelation on the
I
album.
don't I
He
don't
played it.
remember.
He played it note for note, and I was like, "You sound just."
Wow.
And I said, "What? How
Wow.
did you do?" I said, "What did you do?" He goes, "Well, I would come home and I would just do each song separately until either I got it or close enough. But I'm sure that he said, I'm sure I'm not in the right tuning, and I'm sure that I missed some notes, but I feel like it's close enough." I said, "You're to me,
Yeah.
you're close."
People can recognize it. Yeah, you can still kind of get by. There's another one here I'm kind of interested in, but if I don't get it, I'm not going to cry. But Infectious Grooves. This looks really interesting to me. It says here the funk metal supergroup led by Suicidal Tendencies frontman Mike Muir is back. Okay.
Right.
Uh, yeah, right. But what I'm really interested in, that I love the bass. I play the bass. It features bassist from Metallica, Robert Trujillo. Now, as much as I can't stand Lars and want to punch him in the face, I really love Robert Trujillo.
I've never really been a fan of Lars. Seriously, I don't know why. I just
Well, he got into that whole, I think he was the one that was the most riled up about the downloading of and started suing college students. I just thought that was so silly, you
it
know.
was.
They were a symptom, not the they were a symptom, not the problem, you know?
Exactly. And to make a to what I understand about music business and making records and all that, he already got paid. When they made a
Yeah,
record, they got their money already. So
right. And it well, and part of it I do see the point of view of um I do see the point of view of it's not so much about them, it's about the struggling musicians that were losing revenue. But when you see technology taking things in a different direction, trying to hang on to the old ways, you're just you can't stop progress. You just have to go with it and figure out how to survive in the current climate. You can't keep trying to cling on to what isn't working.
right,
So
right,
all of the time they wasted on that, they could have been figuring out how to make money on the internet. Say, okay, well, this is the way things are going. How do we try to make money from it? I
right,
don't have a
exactly.
lot of patience for people who don't roll with it. You know, I I
I
feel like
agree.
I think they need to learn to roll with it. Oh, look at
Right.
this. This is a 12-inch, but it was mastered at 45 RPM. That should make
Nice.
that should make Mike happy in Germany. I don't think this is his kind of music though, but I'm gonna try to get this infectious grooves. I'll let you know how it sounds. But funk metal is kind of it's a happy medium for Tony and I, because he loves metal and I love funk, and I get the bass that I like, and because usually metal, it's so guitar heavy
Yes.
that the bass is really thin, and you can barely even but
Yes.
so this is like I mean, so
And
I'm
and
curious
uh,
about.
and yes, and it's so minimal. Let's go listen to "Justice for All" by Metallica. Where's the bass? Okay. I don't know if
That
they did that on purpose or what.
Yeah, but as they went along, Robert Trujillo is an incredible bassist. So,
Right.
they started, having more. But the first time I heard Metallica, that was my thought, was like, there's really not a lot of bass here.
Exactly.
Well, are you ready to answer all these questions? They're
Yes,
not
I
all
am.
hard. They're not all hard. You already said you were born and raised in Texas and that's where you live now. Well, that's the first question. So that one you How old were you when you fell in love with music?
Oh wow. If I was to say a number, it would be seven. Is where I thought about this once. Seven was the first time I really heard music, and a lot of the music that I heard was, hey Rob, was my grandmother, and she played a lot of Latin music. She played Tom Jones. She played Hendrix. She had a Hendrix record.
Awesome.
She played a lot of Beatles. Her favorite was John Lennon. And then I heard a lot of music that I still like listening to through cartoons and commercials,
Oh yeah.
classical and big band music. I love
Oh
big
yeah.
band
I
music.
love it. I love it. My mom loves it. It was in our house when I was growing up too, and in fact, I have quite a bit of it in my record collection. Um I just found them at thrift stores and whatnot, and I'll pick it up every time. How when you go to thrift stores, not so much big band, but Herb Alpert. There's always that one Herb Alpert record. Notice that it's always the same one. Everywhere you go, there it is. And
Right.
I started laughing when I see it every time you see a thrift store video and people are flipping through. It's always in there, and uh, I actually own that record and I listened to it because it was part of my childhood. So
Right. Right.
what
I hear
what
you.
is your favorite way to listen to music?
Meaning
Like, do you
like
prefer streaming? Do you prefer tape, CD, vinyl?
I like listening to I prefer vinyl. I have a great big CD collection, and I do buy MP3s, and I like to make still CDRs, and I listen to those.
Yeah.
And so and I pretty much all the formats that are available.
Yeah, it's the kind of the same for me. I love vinyl. There's definitely a nostalgia to it. It does sound. I like the way it sounds, but I don't know how much of that is just nostalgia and how much of it is that it really sounds better. But I
Right.
also love Spotify, though. I love Spotify. I make playlists. I don't follow anybody. Nobody follows me, so I have all of these playlists that nobody will ever hear, but but I love Spotify. And yeah, some people are like, this is the only way I want to hear my music, and that's it. So when did you start your YouTube channel? What made you start?
I started about at least 6 or 7 years ago. And
Wow.
not that I won't say the weird thing about it. One day I was watching, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows who this is, was a guy named TJR. And he would come on there with this other guy, and they would say, music you should really listen to. And they would show CDs, like, hey, the new Tom Petty, you should
Oh,
check it out. And so I started listening to them. And then as I looked at my feed, there was people in there and they were holding up records. And I said, what is that about? So I clicked on people like Lazarus, Derek Higgins, bunches of people that I don't hardly really see anymore. And they would just say,
right,
hey, look, this is what I picked up this week, or here's what I got in the mail. And so I
right.
said, this is really cool. These are just people like me that like showing records that they picked up. And so one day I'm also part of the YouTube vinyl community on Facebook where we post records that we're listening
Oh,
to.
okay.
And I made a comment on a video of DJ Trish. And I said, I don't know if I like the way my voice sounds on a video or recording. And she didn't really know me. She just know that I liked her stuff. And she said, well, Edward, I would enjoy hearing your voice. So when she said that, I thought that was very nice of her. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to do an intro video and I'm going to play it back
Okay.
and see how I sound. So I said, this is good. And then the next, bang. And that's when it took off for me. So it was about 7 years ago.
Wow. So you've been making videos about vinyl for 7 years?
Hmm.
Wow. See, I had no idea that this community even existed. And I didn't know that a community on Facebook existed either. But I try to avoid Facebook like the plague. I'm forced to
Yeah.
log on to see pictures of my family members, I just want to see pictures of them.
Right.
But it's gotten so polluted with just garbage that I just don't even want to. It ruins my day. I'm like, no, you remember that oh, it reminds me of remember that meme that go around from The Office. You are a thief of joy.
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, well that's how I feel about the people on Facebook. They're thieves of joy. I'm not going to let them take my happiness.
I've been staying
So I
away.
come to YouTube. I like Twitter a lot. I
Right.
like Instagram. I like YouTube. I try to avoid Facebook, but
I do too
so
here
I thought
lately.
about looking up the vinyl community on Facebook as well, but then that would involve me having to actually log on to Facebook. My husband told me I should just start a different Facebook page for my YouTube page and just use that one for the vinyl.
Right. Right. I did have my own vinyl group community page for about 3 years. And I had it was getting way up there in number. I had a lot of people join. It was called Music Club. And I'd say
Oh,
you can post your vinyl, your CDs, your cassettes, whatever you want to show. And I had that for that about 3 years. A lot of people were in it that do make videos, and it was a lot of fun, but it got very time consuming. And then I started having a lot of people that were causing problems and stuff. So I said, you know what? I shut it down. And when you shut down a group on Facebook, let me tell you, it's not easy as you think. You have to go and kick everybody out of the group before it officially shuts down. It was a
yes.
lot. It took me 3 hours.
One of my dear friends had a group called Will's Wall of Sound, and I was a member of that for a while. But after a while he stopped. He just didn't want to have the group anymore because people kept coming in just to troll and start problems, and he
True.
wasn't always able to be there to monitor. Because I mean, like everybody else, had to work for a living, so he'd come home
Exactly.
from work at the end of the day and find really disgusting comments that had been left up all day that he didn't know about, and so
Right.
he ended up having to try to shut down the group. And at that time, Facebook made him had to offer to somebody else to moderate the group.
Whoa.
That he was trying to shut it down, and it told him that he had to give somebody else in a group the chance to take over the group and for him to just leave since it was already an established group. This was a long time ago. I'm sure
Wow.
they have changed their rules, I'm sure, since then, but when he told me that, I was like, that just seems nuts. But he finally was able to get it, closed down, thankfully.
Right.
Thomas
Well,
Thomas is with us.
hi,
He's
Thomas.
he's trying to learn to play bass. Thomas's channel, he only has just a few videos up, Edward, but he has some videos up of him singing, and you
Okay.
need to check out the Country Boy video because you should see his guitar. And also, of course, my favorite, he has a lava lamp in the back.
Cool. I will check it out.
Actually, it's a glitter one, but yeah,
Yep.
there is. Yeah, we'll have to do a video about that one too. Okay, so hey, do you want to give a shout out to your most recent subscriber or commenter, if you could think of who it is, or if you have access to your device?
There's a gentleman that I want to give a shout out. His channel name is Grumpy Old Man Vinyl or something like that. And
Okay.
he has been a real supporter. He I like his channel. I went to go check out some of his videos, and he's just like me. And he was showing videos of some of his records. He was excited about getting this Pink Floyd reissue of an album that I like by Pink Floyd too. And so he's been a person that frequently stops by and comments on my video. So yeah, if he's out there, I think his name is Don. So Don,
Okay.
if you're out there, check him out. The next video I do, I'm gonna give him a shout out and put a link to his channel on it.
Yeah, I know. I've had so much support since I've been here, and which I really appreciate because when you're first getting started, you're nervous and your videos aren't that good, and bless anybody who's willing to sit there and watch you and support you.
It gets me when these folks. Not that it gets me, but when these folks make like a 40-minute video, it's like, how many? I mean, it's great. If you can do that, great. But I'm not knocking that down. But that is a long video.
People. You know what though? I don't expect anybody to watch the whole thing though. I don't get upset if they don't. They can.
I watch yours all the way through, but there's some that I'm like, okay, there's okay. I'll give an example what I'm talking about. Some of them will spend a whole time at the whole beginning of the video talking about politics before they start showing any kind of records, and I'm like, I gotta go. That's what I mean. Something like that. It's really where they want to get on their platform and do some kind of agenda. And when they want to show the records, it's like 10 minutes left of the video. I already have turned it off.
You know what I think happens sometimes? I think that just nervous and start rambling. And then they just get on a roll and they don't realize how much time has gone by.
I see that.
That's happened to me before, where I'm like, man, this was not good. But like I said, bless anybody who can sit there and hang with me during my videos, because I know that I can also be a rambler.
No, but but you show music and talk music. These other folks start with this other intro, like, "Hey, before
Yeah.
I begin, and this is my video, I'm going to start telling you about why this person and this politician, and I'm like,
Yeah, don't really, not too interested, or at least, put in the description for this long, I'm talking about this, the music starts at this point.
right,
Like I did, when I had put, I know how much people like cats, so when I said my cat was in my last video, I had to see when she enters and put it in the description. Hey, my cat comes in at 12 and a half minutes. So if you don't want to watch 12 and a half minutes of me rambling, you can fast forward to the cat, okay?
oh,
Because
what a sweet,
a lot of people were like, that's why they watched, because they wanted to see a cat, which I don't blame them. I'll watch any video to see a cat too. So
right. We're cat lovers too.
yeah. Okay, is made by Luna Guitar. Ah,
Nice.
it is gorgeous. It's a work of art. You really ought to see it. Yeah.
I'll check it out. Check
Thank
it
you,
out.
Tom, for letting us know.
Thanks, Thomas.
Okay. Um, which of your videos would you like somebody to start with? If somebody's like coming to your channel for the first time, what do you think would be a good one for them to watch first?
Well, I think a good one would be is the intro video I did at the beginning. I think that's a video. You get an idea about me, what I listen to. I know my channel is about my channel is prog, and that's my favorite genre of music. But it
Right.
didn't start that way. I said I started with good old classical rock music, classical music, big band music, soundtrack music. And
Mm.
so it wasn't until like about 5 years, or maybe now it's been 6 years, 6 years ago that I really started advancing in the world of prog music. So
Okay.
it didn't really start off that way. So, and I would say check out my intro video, the very first video I did, and you get, me, like you say, like I say around here, me in my early days.
um, well, so now this is a personal question that doesn't have to do with music necessarily, unless it does.
Okay.
But you want to share with everybody, like, kind of the an obstacle that you've had to overcome in or a turning point in your life, something that can help somebody who might be going through a hard time right now see that they can get through it.
You know, I was raised where I had a lot of good wisdom from my grandparents that say, never give up, keep going. And just because somebody tells you no here doesn't mean it's a no over here.
Right.
And so uh, one of the obstacles was I wanted to improve my working career. So I went
Okay.
back to school, started doing that again. And I'm like, this was about when I was in my 40s. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh man, are the faculty still there? Well, yeah, they were still there. And so I just wanted to advance in my working career. And so I did a lot of warehouse work, got very knowledgeable about commodities and all that. So I finally got to be in a position to be a purchaser of commodities. And that's was a tough obstacle because I went to a lot of interviews. I got a lot of no's. And I just kept doing it. I said, well, if they have another one, I'm going to do it. And I tightened up my skills about the application, the words, and get the just how I could make it where people go, hey, this guy knows this and this, instead of
Right.
rambling on in sentences. And so
Right.
one day I did it and I said, wow, this is like the fourth or fifth interview. I said, well, if it happens, it happens. I was working away at my other job, still doing that. And then bang, uh, the guy who interviewed me goes, how would you like to come to purchasing? I was like, am I hearing this right? And so,
Great.
wow. And so I accepted it, looking forward to starting it. And then that was an obstacle. The other obstacle was learning the laws, the guidelines for the state of Texas about buying commodities, because now we're in as we all know, we're all in environmental awareness now. So you got
Yeah,
to go read those laws and what you can buy and what you can't buy that will harm the earth, just about all that. So that
right.
was an obstacle. And I said, you know what? Instead of sitting here and getting a little bit frustrated, I'm going to learn this stuff. And now, I'm not trying to brag on myself, but now I'm known in
No,
the
no,
office.
yeah,
I'm
I
known in the
know it.
office as the rock star purchaser who came from the warehouse. This guy was, and now he's the rock star. And so I make this joke about myself because Tom Brady joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I said, you can
Right.
call me you can call me Tom Brady of the office. I can still throw some passes. And so everybody gets a chuckle out of it. Everybody gets a. So those are the two obstacles or three. Is just like I'm going to get to what, and I love what I do. I do.
I can tell. I can tell you love it just by how your face lights up when you talk about it. How did music help you with
Oh,
that?
during that time and the studying and learning and read, because you got to read a lot of stuff. You just gonna go. You can't just go out there and go. I'm gonna go buy this phone with taxpayers' money. No, 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 buddy. That ain't how it works. So what helped me during that whole time, I have to say the genre of classical music and progressive jazz music. My coworker would hear that and hear that progressive jazzness, and they go, "What is that? Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And they said, "What is that music? It sounds like somebody doesn't know what they're doing." I'm like, "No, you need to go listen to it because they know what they're doing. It's an expression, and it's
Right.
helping me to stay focused and concentrate." And I was like kicking out big numbers of POs every month by just listening to a lot of progressive jazz with no words or jazz music, blue note, and
Right.
classical music. So,
Uh, so you probably have to work with numbers a lot too, huh?
oh
You know,
yes,
music is there's a lot of math there, and it
oh
helps
yeah,
keep your brain on that wavelength. I would think it would kind of help keep your mind in that zone where you can do that.
right.
That makes
And
sense. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was going to say one thing, and I'm sorry about cutting you off. One thing that I would tell my kiddos is, you say you don't need to learn algebra, but go
Yeah.
ahead and do it, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I've experienced in my new job, I used a formula that came from algebra to understand a unit of measure that this person quoted. It didn't make
Right.
sense, but when I used the formula, guess
Right.
what? It came out right.
Yep. It's I've used algebra at the grocery store. People
Yes,
don't people
yes,
think I'm never going to learn that. Yeah, I'm never going to use that. You do though. You do
you
use
do.
that.
You do use those formulas.
What is one album that you just can't live without?
Ooh,
Is there
of
one that
course.
you listen to so often you don't even put it away? I've got one.
I got one too, and I got it on vinyl finally. So I put some stuff to the side. Just um, I can't have this one out of my collection. Van Halen
Oh, that's
two.
a great one. Van Halen 2. That's awesome. I love that. And I
This
know
is
Dance the Night Away was the big hit, but that's still my favorite. I love that song. I love that song.
yes, and I was going to mention about one thing that I've been hearing a lot of Van Halen brothers interviews.
Yeah.
Van Halen two was made in 3 weeks. People don't do that anymore.
Wow.
And think
No,
about all the songs that we're still hearing from Van Halen too. You mentioned one,
I know.
Dancing That Away, very melodic, very. He does some things in it. I haven't pinpointed the styles of music, but that song is one that put it in a time capsule and send it in space. Dance the Night Away is an awesome track.
That's it's there's just so much. Yeah, there's so many layered melodies, and um, the it's I can't even, like I said, it's hard to articulate it, but
Yes.
yeah, that's just a great. I Now that album also has their cover of "You're No Good" on it, doesn't it?
I have to do this, Lisa. I love their cover of that.
I
It's
do
got that
too.
haunting,
Yeah.
haunting dark beginning, which I try to
Yeah.
learn how to play it. And what it was at the beginning, it's an A minor shaped chord just going
Ah,
up. And then that bass line, oh my goodness. Every time I get the chills when I hear that intro.
that's a great. I got the chills just thinking about it. That's a great album. You know what? I have I wish I had known you didn't. You said you finally got it on vinyl. If I had known earlier you needed it, I could have sent you one. I have 3 copies of it right now. I have my copy from my childhood. That one I'll never get rid of. I don't care,
Right,
even if it skips, I'm keeping it. And
right.
then I got my husband's copy. And then I ended up with another copy. It was somehow my grandpa, when he passed away, I was given a bunch of records that he had. Now he had a little store, and people would go in and sell him whatever, and he did sell. He loved vinyl, so he had a little section of vinyl, and apparently that record was in there. So I have a
Oh, cool.
yeah. So now I've got 3 copies, which my copy my copy does there is one song on it that skips,
Right,
so
right.
eh.
And if I may say something here real quick, I'm still looking for the other Van Halen records. I don't know why I got rid of them. I guess I don't know. I do things sometimes. I get in a trading mode and I'm like, I want something else. And right now, the prices on those Van Halen records are high up there. And it's
Yeah,
like, whoa.
I'll look and see if there's anything else I have duplicates of, and I'll play them first. I don't want to send you something just jacked up.
I'm such a fan. I don't mind a jacked up Van Halen record. I just, they were just part of my, if I may say this too, real quick, a friend, like I said, where I grew up, he came over one day and he said, "Hey, Edward, you got to listen to this album." I said, "What is it?" He goes, "It's called Women and Children First, Van Halen. Have you heard any Van Halen music?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well," he made fun of me. He goes, "No, because you're always hearing the Beatles, the Who. You got to, come listen to this." And when he played that record, I was like, "Who is this guitar player?"
Album. It's a great album.
And so
It's a
we
great
aired
album.
Guitar the
I
Night
love it.
Away and drove my grandparents crazy. And they said, "Okay, your friend's got to go home now." Anyway,
What is your most played album?
my most played record, most played record. Wow, that's another tough one here. Um, my most played record would be this one. I love these double compilations they made early on. The Who, My Generation, Magic Bus.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I love it, and it's the original one that
That's a
opens
good.
up.
Oh, okay.
Because you remember later
Oh,
on when
how
they
that's
repressed
beautiful.
them, later on, Lisa, they didn't open up anymore. There were just 2 records in the cover.
I hate that. I'm a sucker for a good gatefold.
Me too. I
I
love
am.
looking at the artwork. But
Yeah,
that's one of
same.
my
Yeah,
most played records right there. I never get enough of the first 2 records of the Who.
that's great. That looks nice. Oh, do you have access to your music app? Like, do you have a Spotify? I was gonna have you hit shuffle and see what starts playing, or do a whack-a-mole for Nancy.
Where I just grab something.
Yeah.
Um, I have Spotify, but I got that old man thing, and my daughter sets it up for me, and I forget how to do it again. But
Ah.
she's made me some awesome playlists, and I say, "Hey, how do you do this again?" Bless you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna grab right over here,
Just grab
and
one.
Here we
Maybe
go.
Thomas. Maybe I think Thomas is still with us. Hey, look at that! Pet sounds. You picked a good one. Oh, you know what? Guess who? I got an email from Carol K, who did all of the electric bass on Pet Sounds. I
Awesome.
I had ordered some stuff from her, and I've been ordering as I've been learning bass. I've been ordering educational materials from her,
Right.
and I sent her. It's I'm a little I'm crafty. I like to do kind of crafty stuff, and I made a card where I I had it's like a sax because she loves the saxophone. She doesn't play it, but she loves the saxophone. So I made like a sequin saxophone, and then I put in calligraphy a note of thanks, and I wrote her a
Oh,
nice thank you card. Well, I felt like I needed to make her something to show her how much she meant to me.
yeah,
And
yeah. That's
and
awesome.
so she emailed me some extra materials of things that she had written and gave me some advice about practicing, and just a real generous lady. And I
That,
almost cried when I got that email.
oh,
So that
that
Pet
that's
Sounds record.
that is very sweet. Yeah, that is
She's a
awesome.
neat lady. She's well into her 80s, and but she's you know, she just wants to keep the bass alive, and she's also trying to get back into the guitar from what she said on her web, because she was originally a guitar player.
Right, right. That's true.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. Oh, what is the first album you purchased with your own money that you earned?
Wow. I thought about that too a long time ago. I have a vinyl version, but I'll show the CD because it's handy right here. This is one of the first records I ever bought with my own money. I got so excited. It was Goat's Head Soup for $5.
Wow, that's great. You don't see that one too often.
No, and I really bought it. I didn't know what to expect from the rest of the record. I really bought it because it had Angie. And
Mm.
so when I got home, I told my brother, "Guess what I bought with my own money? It was $5." And I said, "There's a place called Half Price Books, and they don't just sell books; they sell records." And he goes, "Put it
Right.
on, put it on." And me and him enjoyed the whole record. Like, oh my goodness, this is a kick-A record.
Yeah, it's a great album. Let's um oh, which band have you been a fan of the longest?
The Who.
Who would your best friend say is your favorite band?
If my friends, wow, that's a good one. Because I know
Yeah,
my friends in the past would probably say, well, he was always hearing Beatles stuff, so they would probably say
probably
Beatles.
Beatles, but they wouldn't be right. That would be the next question. Are they right?
Right, right. They wouldn't be right, but they would probably say most likely the Beatles because I had a lot of Beatle records.
We'll have to look for that, Thomas. I bet it probably costs
Ooh,
a fortune now. It
I
probably
I've seen that a long time ago.
Well, my best friend still keeps thinking that I'm into the same music that we listened to when we were kids, and
Hmm.
she's forgetting that my taste has evolved. But I still like that old stuff too, so that's okay. But if you were to ask her who my favorite musician is, she would be so wrong. She knows everything else about me, but she's so wrong about that.
Right.
Um, what is your favorite non-music related story about you and your best friend?
Like non-related music
Yeah,
stories. Well,
yeah, like something fun.
well, I tell you, this was fun. When, like I said, growing up in a small town, you meet a lot of interesting people that get bused from other little counties into
Yeah.
school. And one of the most fun things I remember being part of course, I eventually got kicked out of the group, and it wasn't because of me. I guess maybe they thought I wasn't bringing nothing to the table, but it had to do with comic books. And so
uh,
there was a little group of us that were trying to create our own comics, hand free them and everything. And so I did my best. I did my own stories. I try to make them more of superheroes, not really being being quirky enough that they didn't know that they did something that was heroic,
Yeah.
and they stumbled on, hey, wait a minute, I just saved a bunch of people in a school bus. So I started doing those kind of stories and making my own. I wasn't a very good artist making my own. I just kind of winged it and did what I could. And we were in a group, and then they would give it to the main person, and they were like, oh yeah, this is good. And then after a while, there was no more, this is good. It was more like, oh, we're getting the same thing from you. I said, what's wrong with that? And so they got real big headed because some of them were great artists, some of them were better storytellers. And
Yeah.
so when they started, looked like they started meeting secretly.
Oh no. Oh no. That's bad, Edward.
I don't
Uh
mind. I
I
really
had the
don't
same
mind.
thing happen to me. A group of my friends, we wanted to dance, and it's really weird that I can play bass and keep time, but I am a terrible dancer, and I'm talking Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld bad. And after a while, well, okay, maybe not that bad. I don't
I know,
jerk,
I'm just
but
kidding.
it's not. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, pretty soon I catch myself. I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. But so after a while, um, one day after school, um, I couldn't get a hold of anybody, and I found out that they had the dance club without me. Without
That's
me.
what I. That's what happened to me.
At the time, my little, I was living in Newport Beach that year, and I was living away from my best friend Colleen for the first time, and so these were all my new friends, and then they dissed me, and I was like, my little 10-year-old heart was just broken. But now I look back at it, and it's hilarious, and they were 100% right to kick me out. I would have, yeah.
Right, right.
Oh,
Oh
you know
man.
what? This will be a fun one for you because I never hear you curse.
Okay.
Ooh, what is your favorite curse word?
Wow. If I have to say it, it would be it would be the that's a good question because it'd be the shit word.
Okay,
Because
the
I sometimes I get
SHIT
in
word.
that then I'm out I'm out when I get into a little of disagreement or competition with others, I do throw out that word the most, or like don't give me that,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah,
that's chicken,
yeah, yeah,
that you're
yeah.
doing that.
What do you think is the best use of a curse word in a song?
Oh, I was just hearing it. Van Halen's Center Swing, when he
Oh,
says the F word, he drops the
yeah.
F. And when I first heard that,
It's
this is
not. It's
before
not
all the
what he says.
censoring.
It's the way he says it, though. It's the way he.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before all this censoring, when I first heard that, that was the first song that I can remember ever saying the F word. And I was with the headphones going, and I was like, did my grandparents hear that? And I had headphones on. I said, did they hear that? I don't want them to hear that. I don't want them to think they got to take the record away from me. And I was
Right.
like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When you're a rebellious teenager, there's nothing better than hearing a random curse word in a song.
and, and and I'm sure people back then were like, well, I don't know. I mean, I would like to hear everybody. What did everybody think about when they heard that F word in that song, "Center Swing" on "Fair Warning"? I was shocked me. I was like, did he say what I think?
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Now this is a fun one. If you could punch any musician in the face, like somebody you just think deserves, like say it wasn't against the law and it was, if you could just go up and just give them a good punch.
Yes, I would. Wow, that's a good question. And I'm looking at my collection and thinking, who would I like to do that to? Uh, Sebastian Bach, because he kind of comes on sometimes a little bit, like I can almost see that he could be a little bit unapproachable.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, hey, dude, we're your fans. Come
You
on.
need to be taken down a peg. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this is my favorite question. Is what is your best concert story?
Oh, my best concert
Well, I mean,
story.
it could be which your favorite concert story. It could be a good experience, a bad experience, a funny. It doesn't matter. But what is your favorite concert story that you have?
I tell you, I'm gonna call it the fly by night story because I I got in line when the tickets came out and I saw Pink Floyd on the Momentary Lapse of Reason tour. And I knew it was
Oh,
going to be without Roger Waters, but I said, I got to see Pink Floyd. So I asked my manager, could I go get online on my break to get the wristband to get a good seating? So
right.
long story short, I did it, got the ticket. I went by myself. And I was like, oh yeah, the fly by night that night before that concert, I couldn't sleep, but I had to go to work. I had to go to college, and that day was just like fly by. It was just like couldn't sleep, had to study, had an. It was just going so fast that day. I had my backpack on. I met this girl in my class, and we started talking, and she said she saw me standing waiting for the bus to go to the. I was going to go straight from class to the concert. I didn't care how early it was. I think it was like
Right.
2 hours early. And she said, hey, I'll give you a ride up there. And I said, okay, sure. And she gave me, and she goes, what do you want me to drop you off? And I told her, she goes, oh, wow, you're going to go see Pink Floyd? I said, yes. And we started talking, and she started telling me about her liking of Pink Floyd and her parents liking them. So she dropped me off, and I just couldn't believe it. I said, I am finally here. I said, I know I see this building all my life, the Irwin Center here in Texas. And I said, but to be here to see Pink Floyd, it was a big deal for me. And so there I was with my backpack the whole time of the
Wow.
concert. And the whole time I stood during the show, that huge pig flew over me. I was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I said, I am on the album cover Animals.
Yeah. You know what year was that? I saw Pink Floyd in '94. Um, I don't know. I don't remember if it was the Division Bell tour or what, but they released the pigs in that one too, and it was everybody went crazy. Everybody went
Yes.
crazy. And it was without Roger Waters, but it was still great. I think Roger Waters, he's the best lyricist, but I prefer Dave Gilmour's voice.
Me too. I
You
agree.
know,
I
yeah.
agree.
So I was happy to go see them without Roger Waters. It would have been better if they had been together, of course, but I was okay with it. But they opened with on the Turning Away,
Ooh, yes.
which I thought was an interesting choice for an opening number. But
Right. It is.
yeah, but it was
That's
good.
probably
It was
another
great.
guy. That's probably another guy I want to punch and like stop acting like that, Roger Waters. Those are
Yeah.
your buddies.
Well, I think that they are I think they're once again getting along.
Good.
I think so. They on Amazon Prime they have several making of videos of where they talk about making of Wish You Were Here, and then they also did one for Dark Side of the Moon, and I believe there's also one for The Wall that I haven't watched yet. But the one for Wish You Were Here really, really touched my heart. I mean, it really did. It's a great. I don't know if you've seen it, but you
Yes, I
really,
have. It is really good. One of my favorite, I guess, documentary films. I mean, of an album. I really love that, and it made me listen to more now. Wish you were here.
yeah, yeah. As soon as I watched that, I immediately. I don't have "Wish You Were Here" on vinyl. I wish I did. I used to, but when I had it when I was a teenager, a lot of my albums actually from my teenage years burned in a house fire. My
Oh,
mother's house. I was not living with her. I was grown up. I had taken a small stack of albums over to my dad's house. That's how my Van Halen 1 and 2, the Cars debut,
ooh,
the Pretenders debut, the Cars Candy-O. I had a real small and my Mickey Mouse Club record from when I was and my Snow White record. They survived because I had taken a stack of records over to my dad's when I was a kid, and I forgot about them, and he gave them to me about 10 years ago. He went, "Hey, you know what I found?" And I was like, I thought I was so I almost
yeah.
cried. But most of my
Oh,
albums like that actually burned. But I actually bought. I had Wish You Were Here, and it was so I don't have it on vinyl anymore, but I listen to it on Spotify. It sounds great. That's one of those
yes.
albums that it doesn't even matter the medium. They all sound great.
I mean, what could you do? It's like hearing Steely Dan records. What could you do to, they sound great on every, like you said, every media, every media
Yeah.
level. They sound great.
Yes. What is a song that touches your heart?
The song that gets me really, that touches my heart and is really emotional for me, I would say, is The Who Bargain.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that song. Maybe I
It's on,
am. I don't know it by name.
it's on the Who's Next album. I don't know what it is by that song, but it kind of puts me in a place, not a bad place, but a place of memories, reflecting on things. It's
Yeah.
That's the song "Bargain" by the Who.
Oh wow. So tell me what is your biggest life lesson that you've
My,
had to learn?
what's that? Oh, my biggest lesson.
Your biggest life lesson that you had, like the biggest life lesson that you think you had to learn. Everybody feels like, as you get older, you see a common theme recur. My life has been loss. I've experienced a lot of loss, and I feel like that my mission here is to kind of learn how to cope with that. What do you think yours is?
That honestly, that it would be where I didn't appreciate uh, my grandparents enough. I mean, that's what I learned, where I learned a lot of stuff from, and so I tell them thank you every day. Because,
Good.
at young, I was a little bit rebellious. And of course, I thought I knew it all, but I didn't know it all. Because when I went, and how they were very patient, loving people that never did hold any kind of grudge or anything towards me. Every time they saw me, it was like they saw me the day I was born. That's how they
Oh,
were. And so that's it. Is not showing not just them but other people in my life, not appreciating people that have that's been my lesson. Like, hey, wait a minute, it's time to wake up here. Okay,
gratitude. Gratitude.
that's it.
Well, what lesson are you still trying to learn right now? I'm
Uh,
I'm trying to learn patience.
I'm trying to learn not to overreact and shoot this little thing right here off.
Oh yeah, the filter. Think before you speak. I could yes. I think that a lot of us, including me, can yeah.
Right.
You know.
And because
Well,
some things just don't require a response.
isn't that the truth? And that's been hard. That's a hard lesson to learn right there. That you don't have to say anything. I've been trying to learn that myself. Uh, Picking my battles. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
what is the best life advice you have for anybody listening? And well, advice for their life advice, and then advice for their YouTube channel.
Life advice, folks, uh, uh, would be, you know what? It's not worth holding grudges or being angry.
Yeah,
Our times are short. Love people, and the ones that are difficult, you can love them from a distance, you
that's
know,
right. That's
and
right.
just enjoy what we have where we're here in the now. and enjoy the things that make you happy, and don't go away from them. Like, I've never went away from writing poetry. I love doing it. And so
Good.
that would be my advice, is just, hey, sometimes it's just not worth a lot of things. Don't let people drain all your energy that just, want to be, just, give them space, try to be patient, which is a hard thing to do. And for YouTube, keep going, because if you get to a point like you're like, I don't want to do this no more, and whatever the reason might be, I don't have the subscribers, I don't have the comments, or I don't know what else that. No, sometimes you can take a little break and just keep going, and you'll find that you'll find your love again for what you're doing on YouTube, and do it. Now, that's been my advice to myself, because there was a few times I said, you know what, I don't know, I feel like I'm done. I want to retire from this, and I'm thinking. Then I watch somebody else's videos and I go, hey, wait a minute, yeah, that's cool. And then I'm like, okay, let me.
Inspired again.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my advice. Keep being inspired about stuff.
Edward, you got through a list of 21 questions.
Wow.
Bravo, dude. Thank you so much for being willing to do this, especially with being a little behind. You're an hour behind me, so it was pretty early in the morning for you. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day at the record store. You're gonna make a video and let us know if you have success at the record store today.
Well, I thought about doing that, Lisa, but what I noticed, how Facebook here, one day I wanted to do one live from the store, but the guy was playing Led Zeppelin and Billy Joe, and I thought, oh man, I play that and it'd be like the whole time in my video I'm going, because they muted me.
Yeah. Well, what this one girl, do you subscribe to this girl called Rachel's Records?
I've seen her.
Okay.
I've seen her.
Well, you know what she does is she just tapes herself flipping through the albums, and then when it's at a store that's playing music, and then she just with the sound off, she uses the microphone, so it's just that, and then she puts the stock music that is in the that you're allowed to use with the program that she's using. She puts that stock music over it just to have a little something to listen to.
Oh.
But that way she's not yeah. And it's so stupid, and it's always the artists that really don't need to make any more money that are the worst about blocking. I think Zeppelin's usually pretty cool, actually, about and of course Grateful Dead. If they're playing the Dead, you're in, because they don't give a shit. They want people to spread their music around. They're smart. Widespread Panic, String Cheese Incident, a lot of those bands, they're smart. They don't care, because they know that that's how people are going to hear them. But a lot of these artists that are like Don Henley, he might deserve a punch in the face, actually, for his attitude about, oh yeah, you cannot play a Henley. He has a zero tolerance.
Oh my god! Or Leo Sayer. Leo Sayer will. His camp. I've heard that, where if they hear.
Well, when you have 3 hits in your whole life, I guess you have to get pretty protective of it. And actually, you really only have one. To most people, name a Leo Sayer song. If they're our age, maybe you could probably say "You Make Me Feel Like Dancing" and
More Than I Can Say.
More Than I Can Say, and then there's the other one that "Do Like I Do."
When I Need Love.
Thank you. When I Need Love. Yeah. Those are his songs, right? I think that's pretty. People would be hard pressed to find to even think of another one. So that might,
Right.
I don't know.
We were talking about that, one of the questions, and another guy that I don't want to punch, but I want to shake him and say, stop doing that, is Jimmy Page. Because here's why.
I know.
I get the remasters, and then I read something that goes, oh yeah, Jimmy Page went back in there and put another guitar part. I'm like, Why are you doing that?
They
What's
want
done
it to
is done.
that that's why a lot of Star Wars fans got so frustrated with George Lucas.
Yes.
It's you can't erase history. If you want to put out a different version, fine. Label it that way. Say this is not what you're, let people know so that but yeah, it's unsettling when you get something you expect it to sound what a certain way. It's like, and maybe it's good, but it sours you on it when it's not what you're expecting. It's like I love iced tea, but
Right.
nothing tastes worse than iced tea when you think you're going to take a drink of Dr. Pepper.
Right.
You think you're
Like,
or Coke, and then you take it. And iced tea is delicious, but I
right.
wasn't expecting iced tea. I wanted my Coke.
Right.
Anyway, thank you so much, Edward. It's an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to leave this up. I don't know if people are going to be able to get through all hour and 20 minutes of it, but
thanks again, Lisa. I appreciate your time.
thank you
It was an
so much,
honor being
Edward.
here. Folks, subscribe to Lisa's channel. Go check her out. If I could say one more thing,
Yes,
Jimmy
of
Page,
course.
if you ever listen to this, Jimmy Page, I think I could convince you to stop doing that. Look me
Yes.
up. I can tell you to stop adding extra parts to Achilles' Last Stand.
There you go. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Edward. Hope to see
Thank
you.
you.
I know usually you're not on a whole lot over the weekend, which I like. You live your life. That's awesome. That's what you should be doing. But
Yes.
I'll probably see you on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing what you find on the in your excursions over the weekend.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.